Today we're visiting the Raspberry Pi 400 and HstWB, and hopefully WHDLoad pack installed as well. So I'll quickly show you what I do to set up the Raspberry Pi image, Raspberry Pi other OS, then I'm going to Raspberry Pi OS Lite and I'm making sure I choose the 64-bit version. I select my storage, I've got a micro SD card, 32 gig in there. And let's go to the gear symbol, set up a host name, so Amiga Pi. I'm going to enable SSH. I'm going to set a password so that I can log into it. If you're using Wi-Fi, it's handy just to set up your Wi-Fi and everything here. Set your locale as well, and then just choose save. Then I'll just choose write, say that, yeah, I'm sure that I want to do that, and then we just wait for that to burn. We put the card in the Raspberry Pi and then we boot it up. So I've logged into the Raspberry Pi. Now we're just going to do sudo d package reconfigure. And then we're looking for a package that's called console-setup. Now all this is going to do is reconfigure the fonts. I like to do this because, you know, my eyesight's not what it used to be. I'm doing this for YouTube. So, actually I'll go back. I want Terminus bold. Then I'm going to choose 14 by 28. There we go. Clear the screen, and this is hopefully a little bit clearer on YouTube. So we're just going to do a sudo apt update and then a upgrade. This is pretty standard for Raspberry Pi, so we're just going to make sure that we've got all the latest packages. Let's do an upgrade. Let's do a full upgrade. So with a reboot later, what we're going to start do is to install some of the applications that we need. Now, most importantly, we need Git. There we go, and that's all installed. Now, as of the time of this video, there is one other package that we do need, and the instructions don't show it at the moment. Amiga has updated, and it requires another package. And that package is sudo apt install, and then it's called libserial port-dev. Now, hopefully in the future you won't need to do this because HstWB will be updated in the package, but I'm running 1.6.3 and as of the time of this video I've only just put in a issue on the GitHub regarding this bug, and hopefully that will get picked up soon. But as of this right now, you will just need to install that package. Okay, with that done, you can do pwd to find out what the current directory you're in. You're in home/Mike, that's my name, so that looks good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to git clone, and then we need to type in a address. Now these instructions are available on Henrik's website, which you can follow. I'll put in a link in the video, but you can just follow along what I'm typing in. HstWB. If I type in things correctly today, wow. .git. There we go. Misspelling there. Okay. There we go, and it's downloaded. So make sure to type it in correctly, and that really helps. Brilliant. So then we need to just go into that directory. So cd into installer, yeah. And then we need the launcher, Raspberry Pi, and then there's an install.ch. There you go. And this is now going to install all the packages and everything. Obviously, we've got that one extra package that we just installed as well just before. Do you want to change the boot? Yes, we do. So we need to say yes to all of these. This is just kind of changing the patching the boot, so things just sort of like boot up a little bit quicker and a nicer experience. Yes, and USB mount we want as well, yes. So we just say yes to all of those. Samba's network sharing, that's always handy to have, so we can transfer things over quickly to the Raspberry Pi. And then it's just a sea of text of programs being installed. So we'll come back once that is all done. Okay, and then it will give you some details about how to connect to the Windows share and everything on this Raspberry Pi. So just make a note of those details there. Then, do we want to force a 1080p screen? Yes, we do. Generally, you want to say yes to this, because if you do use a 4K display, then the Amiga Emulation is going to try and emulate at 4K, and it's going to have a hard time doing that on the Raspberry Pi. So just say yes to this. And then the next thing is HstL2. Do we want to download that for AmiBerry? Yes, we do. We want to optimize it for Raspberry Pi 4 or 400. We've got a 400, so we choose that. And then we just wait for it to download some packages, and then obviously compile all of that for us. And that's all complete. And then next is AmiBerry. So we're going to choose yes. We're going to choose the Pi for 400. Choosing 64-bit because I've got 64-bit OS, and HstL2 is what we choose, and we'll just wait for that to download. And then it's going to ask what version we're going to want. As at the time of this video, 5.6.1 is the latest stable release of it, and it needed that extra package, that libserial dev package. So yeah, make sure that you got that installed beforehand, which we've done, and now we're just going to go with the stable release. We could choose a specific version, but I'm just going to go with the latest, and then we'll just wait for this all to go through. And that's installed successfully, so let's go. Okay, do you want to use AmiBerry as your default Amiga emulator? Yes, I do. And then it asks, do you want to download another emulator, UAE for ARM? Well, no, I know that I'm just going to be using AmiBerry, so I'm going to say no to that one. You can say yes and carry on if you want, but I'm just going to choose no for that. Fake KMS video driver is considered legacy, but required by UAE for ARM emulator. So do we need that? Well, I don't need it because I haven't got UAE for ARM, so I'm going to say no to that. Brilliant, we've successfully installed HstWB installer. So it says type HstWB and press enter in the console anytime to start the menu. Do we want to reboot and go through the first time use? Yes, we do. So I'll see the other side of a reboot. So we're back after a reboot, and as you can see, we didn't have to type in a username or password or any of that. The auto login stuff's working good. So first time use, we'll go through the initial steps of getting HstWB installer up and running. Do you want to go through the first setups? Yes, we do. P-mount is not installed and is required to mount FAT32 devices. Do you want to install P-mount? Yes, please. So let's go ahead and install that. Brilliant. Okay, and then HstWB self-install was not found on any USB drives. Make sure that you have a drive inserted, your USB stick, and then it says, okay, do you want to try again? Well, this is where we're going to jump back to the PC, because now we need to get a memory stick ready with all of the Amiga files and everything, and the WHDLoad pack and a whole load of stuff. So we're going to step away from the Raspberry Pi. We can leave it on this screen for the moment, but let's jump back to our PC. So we're on the PC now, and we've gone to this next page, which is the first time use for Raspberry Pi. Now on this page it directs you to a place where you can download the USB self-install files. I've done that, so let's just open that up. Look, open that up, and these are all the files in that zip file. Now we need to copy this basically all to the USB stick that I've got. So I've got a blank USB stick, and I'm going to copy those all to that stick. Brilliant. So that's done. And then the next step is basically copying over your kickstarts and as well preparing your WHDLoad packs and everything. So let's go through the steps of that. So with regards copying over the files, we're going to start with Amiga OS first. We're going to be installing Amiga OS 3.2.1, but you also need the initial 3.2 files as well. So let's go into the Amiga OS 3.2. You'll see that I've copied over all of the files. Importantly, make sure to just copy over the locale and the modules. I found that if you had multiple locale disks in there, then the installation wouldn't appear correctly, and it requires the modules disk. So yeah, make sure that those are all copied over. If they're not detected later on, then yeah, just check what disks you've got copied over. So we've got that. Let's do 3.2.1, the update. So I'm going to go over here, go to my ADFs, and then yeah, I'm going to select the classes, the disk doctor. I don't need to copy over the locale ones at all, but modules I'll copy over the A1200 and obviously the update disk as well. So there we go, that's all copied over. So that's the Amiga OS 3.2 and 3.2.1 is copied over. And as well, don't bother trying to do 3.1 or 3.9 and add in all of them. Just add one particular OS, and what we're picking is 3.2.1. Okay, so that's done. Now the kickstarts. Now I've been experimenting a lot with this. I've had a lot of problems with this. This is not the first take that I've done of this video, but yeah, we're going to try copying over the 3.2.1 ROM. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to copy the A1200 and that ROM as well over. So we've got those two ROMs. Then what we're going to do as well is we're going to copy over some of the old Kickstart ROMs. So this is in the Calanto pack under your public documents, Amiga files, shared ROMs. And then what we're looking for is the 120, 130, and then the all the way down the bottom, the 310 A1200 ROM. So let's copy those three over. That's for WHDLoad. WHDLoad kind of needs these older versions of the Kickstart ROM as well. So that should all be good. So next we're going to look at the WHDLoad packs. Now we can download these from the EAB file server. The name of it's changed over time. I think it's now called the Turian server. But if you just look up the details on that, I will try and link you to this page. This page can change over time. So rather than me explaining how you connect to the FTP server, just go to this page and this will explain what you need to do. Obviously you need an EAB account, and I think you need some to have basically some usage on the account. You can't just create it and then suddenly have access to the FTP site. I think you have to be an active member of EAB, which is only right because it's a great place to hang out and chat with other people about Amiga stuff. And luckily, yeah, you've got access to an FTP server as well that'll have all this stuff. So if I quickly show you, I'm logged in as me, and what you'll be looking for is the RetroPlay WHDLoad packs here. And then you're looking for the games, demos, games beta, and magazines. So these are the folders you're looking for. So you can just copy, download these folders. But one way that I find quite handy is a tool under the WHDLoad packs. If we go into here, there's the EAB WHDLoad pack downloader, and this allows you to sort of custom download just the English games, for example, and not all the languages. So there's multiple ways. I've got a video on this on this specific tool. But what you can do, for simplicity, you could literally just download this folder of games. It's all alphabetical. Download that, and then what we'll need to do then is go back to our instructions here. So ignore the Google Drive thing, that doesn't exist anymore as of this day. Right, so I've got my folder of games and everything, and we need to put them into a specific folder on the USB stick. So we're going to user packages, then we need to scroll down, look for WHDLoad packs. Then we've got the games directory. I'm just doing games for here. And then here we go. Here's the folders from where I downloaded all of my games off the FTP server. So I'm going to be copying that and then pasting that into here. So those are copied all over to that USB stick and in that particular folder where it said. And there's an example here in the instructions. And then the next bit is that we've got to build the package. So if we go back to WHDLoad, and then we should see that there is a command line. So we just run that. So finding entries. It didn't find any demos yet because I didn't transfer any over. It's found 2,492. Brilliant. Building install entries. So this might take a little while. Actually, no, that was pretty quick. So we'll just click on continue. So that's all set up and ready. And our USB stick is now ready. So what we're going to do is we'll take that USB stick out now and we'll head back over to the Raspberry Pi. So we're back on the Raspberry Pi now, and I've inserted that memory stick with all the files that we've set up. Now you may find that we can't detect the memory stick automatically, so sometimes we need to go into like System, Mount FAT32 devices, mount that. Yeah, it's come up with SDE1 for me. There we go, and now that's mounted. Similarly, like what we then do is we go to Setup and then HstWB installer. Then I recommend just doing the first time use and choose yes. It successfully found a Kickstart ROM, that's good, and the 102 is the 3.2.1 ROM, so it's detected that and it's copied it over to the Kickstarts directory, which is excellent. Then what we're going to do is we're going to download the HstWB installer file. This is a 2.5 gig file. So yeah, it's going to download it. I've already got it downloaded, so do I want to download it again? Yeah, why not? You probably won't see that message if you've only done this the first time round. So I must say that HstWB is very finicky, and yeah, it will take probably a few times for this to work. Hopefully this video is going to help you and you won't have as many problems as what I've had with this. And what I'll try and do is just help you in the best in using this program. But this program is very delicate, let's say, in actually working. After it's downloaded, you'll see all of this. Basically, it's extracting the large download and extracting all the files. So we're just going to wait for that to finish. Okay, and then that successfully downloaded the image, and what it's going to say to do is basically run the emulator, and we need to load a specific configuration file. That's the build 030 JIT one. So let's do that first. So let's go down to run Amiga Emulator. Okay, and then what we're going to do is go to configurations, go to the second one down, that's the build 030 JIT, go to load, and let's choose start. Okay, and we've got a workbench environment loaded up, and this is the next step in the installation process. So we can go press enter to continue, enter again. This is going to detect all the Amiga OS files that we've got. So it's detected the workbench and the install file. And then, we then continue yet again. This is just telling us all the packages that are available. So we can just choose continue. Then we're going to choose MD5 only verification. Then hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to detect our Amiga OS files. Yes, there we go. Install Amiga OS 3.2 has come up as an option at the top. Now, if you don't see that top option, then basically go back to your files, your ADF files. For me, I had to copy over the modules one, and I had 2 locale disks in, so maybe that caused issues as well. So getting rid of those. So it was just the locale disk. But yeah, so far we're going to carry on with the installation. This is really good to see. The update is detected as well. That's great to see. So we can install the Amiga OS modules disk if we want, or we can skip it. I'm going to say install it. Do you want to continue the installation of OS 3.2 modules for A1200? Yes, I do. Why not? So kickstarts, it's detected 3 kickstart ROMs. Those are the ones that I copied earlier. So yes, install those kick1 files as well. Do you want to continue with the installation? Yes, I do. And then this is listing all of the user packages that are available, and there's quite a few available here, as we can see. At the bottom we've got that WHDLoad package, which is the important thing as well that we're going to be using, but there's things like iGame that maybe we can install as well. So let's continue. Yes, I want to use all 21 packages. Okay, so the self-install is ready to start the installation process. Right, so let's press enter to continue. OS 3.2 comes with a colourful and professional design icon set called glow icons. Do we want to install the glow icons? Personal preference if you want it or not. I'm just going to choose no, so I'm just going to have the basic style of icons showing. Then you can see it's then going through all of the disks and installing all of that to the hard drive. Brilliant. And then it's going through and doing the 3.2.1 update as well. So yeah, OS 3.2 installation is complete. Press enter to continue. Brilliant. Installing the kick1 files. Yep, brilliant. We'll do that. That's good. So that's now completed the installation. So reboot and start. Reboot the system to start the package and user package installation. So we're not quite done yet. So it's going to reboot in 10 seconds. Okay, and then this is where we actually get to select our packages that we want. So, right, with all these packages, the EAB menu, I'm going to choose the AGA1 for games. And then start package installation. Yes, I do. So we've got a couple of choices here. So we can install AGS2, that's a nice fancy menu system, or launcher. iGame screenshots as well we can have, and configure HDLoad preferences. Yes, we'll just say yes to all that and start the installation. Okay, and those packages are now installed, so let's continue. Right, next is basically sort of like the extra packages that we can get. So I'm going to choose iGame version 2. I want that installed. Directory Opus, why not? Let's have that. Then if we scroll down, we've got the WHDLoad packs. That's the really important one because that's actually where that contains all our games and everything. WHDLoad 18.7. It's not quite the latest, but we'll install that anyway. Make sure that that's installed. So Kickstart ROMs, we want those installed as well. So it should look something like this. Now we could have the Amiga boot selector as well, so we could boot straight into the AGS system as well. So if you just purely want to play games, or maybe you want to use Workbench, so we'll have that as well, the Amiga boot selector, just for convenience. Archivers and unarchivers, yeah, that could be handy for Workbench. As you can see, you can start to fill this up really and sort of like, you know, add more interesting things. Or maybe we want sysinfo as well, you know, so like we can keep on going really. So let's start the user package installation of that. So we've got 8 packages in total that we've selected, so we'll choose yes. Now for the these are the LHA files. We're going to choose, let's just choose the defaults on those. Yeah, and defaults on all of those. Directory Opus, well, we'll choose the O20 version. I know that we're running the O20. Select iGame CPU version to install. Well, it's the O20. Kickstart ROMs to install. Install 0 Kickstart ROM files. Yeah, okay, so I'm guessing that's copied over already. So WHDLoad, the magazines, no entries, that's fine, continue. No beta games, but now it's going to find, yeah, all the EBA WHDLoad games. So we want to install, install those. Want to skip on the other languages because I just want English ones. And then, yeah, start entry installation. Are you sure you want to install 2,490 entries? Yeah, this is going to take some time. So it goes through extracting all the LHA files of each WHDLoad game, putting it in its folder then. As you can imagine, this is going to take quite some time to do. So I'm going to go away, grab some food, and then we'll hopefully come back later with this all extracted. Okay, and after quite a few hours, that is finally completed. So now, demos, well, we haven't got any of those, we can carry on. Now this is going to go through and install WHDLoad. Now hopefully it can then give us a key that we want to use. So maybe we want to use, I'm going to use the print screen key. And that looks like it's finished, so we'll press enter. The system is now ready to use. And here we go. So we've got the Amiga boot selector. So we got the AGS2 menu if we want that. Or we could just go straight into Workbench if we want. Let's just go into Workbench and see what that looks like. Yeah, so 3.2.1. We've got a load of directories here. iGame, sysinfo. So to finish this off, we need to press F12. Then I will want to run, we run the HstWB run configuration. So we load that up, but then I want to call that auto start. And what that does is, and then we click on save. What that does is that then that configuration will load up automatically when this Raspberry Pi boots up. So let's try it. Let's quit this. Go to exit. Go to exit again. Go to system. Go to reboot. Yeah, I'm sure I want to reboot. And then let's see what happens. There we go. Run Amiga Emulator. And there we go. The boot select has come up, which is good. So yeah, we can go through that, or we could go to Workbench. There's our Workbench setup. And then there we go. So we've got the USB stick here, so we can get things off of the stick if we need to. So it's an easy way of transferring information across. And then to test out, let's go to the AGS2 games. Just make sure that that works. There we go. And yeah, we can select, say for example, A's. Here are all the games. And as you can see, all the artwork is there as well, which is fantastic. And there we have it. So we've got a nice setup for our Raspberry Pi 400 using HstWB as well. We've used the WHDLoad game pack as well to populate it with all the games that we would ever want. And as well, it's thrown in some extra programs as well for us. We can expand that more because we can go into Workbench and install more applications. But I hope that this video has helped you. HstWB is a really difficult process to get right. So yeah, just keep on trying at it. If it doesn't work, then yeah, just try again, and hopefully you'll get there. And hopefully this video does help you. If it does, please give it a like. And if you want to check out more Amiga stuff that I do, then yeah, check out my channel. I have loads of other Amiga videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.